Hello everyone, good afternoon on behalf of Autobock India. My name is Shraddha Raut. I welcome you all to this live webinar and very sorry about the small technological glitch that we had. Let me first introduce the topic to you. I am a prosthetist and I have been working with Autobox in the capacity of product manager for many years. And I saw that skin care or skin related issues are a major obstacle in an individual amputee's daily life. Research states that about 60, an amputee facing a skin related issue, the chances are 65% higher than a normal person facing skin related issues. Our clinicians are also not very clear about what to do, what not to do, or not, rather than not clear, there is no standard rule book on how to treat skin related issues. Skin related issues cause downtime for an amputee. That means you have to take leave from work, or you may have to ask someone to help you, which we do not want. We are all active people and we want to go ahead with our life. Hence, what at Autobock we try to do is we try to work with certain amputees. We ask them some questions. We also asked questions to our colleagues and collected information about what kind of issues are commonly faced by Indian amputee population. We worked with Dr. Rajan here. Dr. Rajan here is a very senior dermatologist. He practices in Bombay. And fortunately or unfortunately, he is also one of our users. So he uses KFOs and a spinal jacket from Autobock. So he has both the perspectives. He knows as a user how important skin is for him to maintain his long-term mobility, to maintain his everyday active life, and from a dermatologist perspective, he knows how to tackle those issues. So we worked with Dr. Rajan sir and try to make sense of this information. We also have Santosh here. Santosh is a prosthetist. Many of you may already know him. He has work experience of about 15 plus years working with Autobock amputees as a clinician. So he has his unique perspective. We have also talked to our other colleagues and shared this information with them. And finally, we have come out with this compiled information in the form of a webinar. What we will be doing today is we will talk about prevention first. So a lot of skin related problems are easily preventable, and we will share with you first some guidelines about how to avoid skin related issues. Then sir has worked on a simple visual guideline. So guideline in terms of pictures and symptoms, which could help you or your clinician to identify a problem quickly, so that it can be prevented early and it can save you precious activity time, mobility time. And then we will talk about some problems which are not really avoidable by skin dermatologist or prosthetist, but may need more intervention. Okay, so for long term mobility, you may need to have an intervention maybe from a surgeon, maybe from a prosthetist, senior prosthetist, etc. So guys, there is a lot of information coming up, but I am sure that this will be useful information. Please feel free to post questions in the comment section. We are reading the questions and we will try to answer your questions at the end of the session. So there we go, sir. Welcome Rajan sir, welcome Santosh, and we are ready to go, guys. So some background on skin care or skin structure and why amputees face more skin related issues from sir.
Thank you, Shraddha, for that nice introduction. like Shraddha said, I have a dual qualification to be here. I have been using a lower limb prosthesis for many years and a spinal brace for support. I am a polio patient, and I know how it feels when certain parts of these prosthesis pinch and cause difficulties. We still want to go back to our work. So, I thought this is a good opportunity to explain to people how to take care of the skin, so that they are not the prosthesis which is helping us to do so much does not become a hindrance, and the device is not a burden to us, but a friend. So, before I go on to further detail, let me describe the layers of the skin. The skin itself is the largest organ of the body, and as you can see, there are 3 layers: the outermost, the middle, and the inner layer. We do not need to know the names of these layers. What we need to know is, when there is slight friction, the outer layer gets compressed, it gets scraped, it becomes thickened, and it may open up, it may cut and expose the middle layer. The middle layer, in that picture you can see the pink zone. If that gets exposed, there is a raw wound, and then you are not able to wear your device, your prosthesis. And if the infection goes deeper than that into the deepest tissue, then the skin damage is much more. It does not heal easily, and then you are inviting a lot of infections caused by various germs in the environment. So, the structure of the skin is important for you to understand. You have to listen to your skin, look at your skin. As we go on, we will go into further details.
Thank you.
The skin of our body has got different thicknesses, different textures. On the joints, in the palms and the soles, the skin is very thick. But mind you, all of you are wearing prostheses which carry the weight on a part which is not designed to carry weight. The foot itself was so thick that it could take a lot of friction, but your stump has got soft skin, which gradually you have to make it accustomed to your prosthesis. So, when there is friction, the skin starts thickening. A slight thickening is normal, it protects, but too much of thickening becomes dry skin and it may crack. Also, the environment, if you are in a cold place, the skin becomes dry. The dry skin within the prosthesis, that itself causes lot of injuries. Severe stresses on the skin on various parts causes cuts and cracks. If the top layer of the skin is intact, germs and chemicals cannot get in, but if they get cracked, the germs start getting into the skin. Also, various substances that are applied, the creams, the cleansers, if they do not have the right pH, means the acid base balance, the skin is slightly acidic. If the pH varies, then the skin will get more damage. So, you should know exactly how to clean your skin, how to take care, and if you are prone to multiple other skin issues not related to the prosthesis, please understand that the prosthesis will become an additional cause of irritation. So, you should know the basic nature of your skin, understand where pressures are happening, and accordingly decide how to treat the stump. As we go on, we will go on to how you should care for the skin and the stump. Thank you.
So, we will next talk about preventive skin care. As we said, these are very simple guidelines, but we have kind of compiled them into standardized guidelines, and we have also tried to answer some of the frequently asked questions. So, over to you, Santosh.
Yes, Shraddha. I think sir has very nicely laid the foundation for this very important discussion. Skincare is, it seems like the care we do for ourselves. So, if you typically look at ourselves, when we are preparing for work in the morning, we are doing two things which is relevant to the topic we are discussing. We are cleaning ourselves, our skin, by taking bath. So, we are taking bath to clean our skin. Then on top of that skin, we are applying fresh clothes. We have to do exactly the same thing for our residual layer. So, we have to clean the skin and we have to apply fresh interface. So, fresh interface means it could be a socks, it could be a liner. So the prosthesis is the entire device, but the elements which are directly in contact with the skin, that has to be clean and fresh. So let's start with the cleaning the skin. So of course we are cleaning it during bathing in the morning, but the best time to clean and take care of the skin is in the night, because we go to bed and there is a good 7 or 8 hours of gap for the skin to have the effect of whatever we are doing with it. So I strongly recommend that when you go to bed, before that, clean your residual limb with fresh water, apply soap. Very important that you apply a soap which has a pH neutral value. So the easiest solution available in India, close to probably in a store close to your home, would be Dove. Dove is a pH neutral soap. You can use that has a good effect. And once you apply soap, ensure that you clean it thoroughly with fresh water. So the soap has foam, so there should not be any residual of the foam or the soap attached to your skin. So clean it again nicely with fresh water. Then dry your skin with a towel, a fresh towel, and the best thing would be the textured towel that you normally find which are used in bathroom. So textured towels are very good. So you wipe it, dry it, and after that you have to apply some sort of moisturizer. Like sir was saying, because the skin is under a prosthetic device, and later on sir will explain more in detail. So the skin which was earlier doing something else with a prosthetic device, it is doing something else. So there is pressure on top of it. So we have to allow the skin to become ready for the next day, because there are micro damages. So it's very important that we clean it, then we apply a moisturizer for the skin to become softer and nourished. So this is in terms of skin. Now the equally important is what we do with the interface. So interface, so that if you go to the next information, so interface is very important that interface could be directly the socket, hard socket, if it is in touch with your skin directly. It could be a simple socks if you are wearing, or it could be a liner. It could be a gel liner like this, or it could be a foam based liner. So whatever is directly in touch with your skin is very important that you clean it. Like I was talking about wearing fresh cloth in the morning. So socks, you clean it. You should have multiple socks, so that if you are cleaning one today, the other one fresh is available to you to wear. And if you are wearing liner, then it's pretty easy. All you need to do is to clean a liner is simply make it inside out, and you can reverse roll it, make it inside out, and then the gel part is exposed, gel part which is in touch with your skin. Soak it in a running tap water, fresh running tap water. Then once you rinse it, then apply again cleaning agent. So there are specific cleaning agent for liner, such as this one. I'll talk about it more in detail. Or use a pH neutral soap like Dove. So apply it, then again with fresh water clean it. Ensure that there is no soap residual attached to the liner, because the liners are micro pores, so it should be cleaned thoroughly. Then you dry it with a clean dry towel, and you leave it over the towel or in a place where there is nothing, it's clean. So place it there, and it will be ready for you to wear next day. So you have to clean your skin, you have to also clean interface, anything that is going to be attached to your skin. And we have a nice video. If you visit our YouTube channel, you will find a nice video tutorial, and very nicely my colleague and one of our users have explained. Now coming to the third part, which is
Santosh, before that I have a
yes.
question. A lot of people use powder, talcum powder inside the liner. Is it recommended by Ottobock?
See, if you use anything, some of the time it could be recommended for effect on the skin. Some sort of powder that can be good for your skin, but it may not be good for your liner. Okay, so we need agent which is good for both your skin and the interface material like liner. So talcum powders, they do more harm to the liner. First of all, they block the micropores, and because they can still rub, they can damage the liner also. So we strongly recommend, whether you are wearing a liner or a direct socket, don't use talcum powder inside. Rather, you can use skincare products much before using a liner or a prosthetic device, so that you have to allow some time for the skin to absorb it. But while wearing, don't use anything. Now coming to the third part of this skin care is, one is we took care of our skin, and the second is we have to take care of the interface which is going to be attached to the skin. The third part is like sir very nicely mentioned once, that the best skin care is by looking at the skin. So if you inspect your skin, remember in prosthetic uses, these problems don't crop up one fine day. It takes some time, and there is always a reason why it's happening. So by the time the resin cause the effect, and by the time it reflects in your skin, there is a time. So the best thing you can avoid this kind of downtime, like Sweta mentioned in the beginning, is that by looking at your skin every day and understanding the early signs and symptoms. So the simplest thing is, like I said, you clean your skin in the night, clean your liner in the night, and at the same time just look at your skin in the morning, and especially after taking bath, look at your skin once. So look for simple things like color, any redness, any blackness. Then look at the texture of your skin. Is it thickening? The skin is becoming more thick, or it is becoming dark, or it's painful. So look at these three things: color, then the skin texture, and any pain. So these are the basic things you can do. Then the fourth pillar of this skin care, which is also important, because I'm saying pillar, because the foundation, it is like a foundation, is your fitness and your body volume. So the prosthetic devices that we make, especially the socket environment, which is like a resting place for your residual limb, that is where it fits in. So it has to be comfortable, but that socket environment is static. If you look at our residual limb during different range of movement, the volume of the residual limb is not constant, it's changing. The modern sockets can accommodate that. However, our volume changes every day. Like morning it is more, by evening it shrinks slightly. When you have to tighten your belt, that's a good indication. But also seasonally it changes. So in winter, some people you'll find your clothes to be little tight, and in summer it is loose. Now in case of prosthetic user, the same thing is happening here. So your socket is a static device. The socket environment is static, but residual limb is dynamic. Now if you don't maintain your body weight and volume, then you will add more problem to it. So the problems will manifest in different ways, like you will have more friction. So if your residual limb volume increases, of course it will not fit in nicely, or your residual limb volume is less, then there will be a lot of looseness. Okay, of course you can manage with socks and this, that, but yes, this opens possibility for more skin related problems. So it's very important that you maintain your weight, and the way to maintain your weight is your fitness activities. Fitness is important for everyone, and for prosthetic users, I would say it's doubly important. It's doubly important because you have to burn little extra calorie to make the same distance. So for you, fitness is very important, and my strong advice is doing exercise. Any exercise is not helpful. Doing the right exercise, using the right technique for right duration, and in the right time is critical. Of course, the physiotherapists are the right professionals to guide you on this, but many times it may not be possible or accessible for you. So that's one of the reasons why we have a app. It's available for both Android devices and iOS devices. It's called Autowork Fitness app. It guides you nicely through video tutorials. It talks about 3 critical parts which is important for you, like flexibility, endurance, and also your coordination. So based on the residual limb, your amputation level, whether lower limb or upper limb, it guides you with the right kind of exercises. And of course, if you are a beginner, then the exercises are designed that way, and if you are already experienced professional, then the exercises are designed that way. So this is the fourth and critical pillar. So skin care, interface care, then your visual inspections, everyday inspections, and fourth is your fitness. So these 4 things together will ensure that your skin is healthy and you are able to lead a active, mobile, happy life.
For a longer period of time.
Very, very important for a longer period of time. And diabetes, I think it's very, very relevant. India has one of the highest diabetes population, and we are increasingly seeing more diabetic users, prosthetic users. So for diabetic users, there are couple of things extra they have to do, especially their skin. Diabetic skin is dry, so the skin can break down easily. Of course, the prosthetists take care with the prosthetic devices, they choose the right kind of liner, they do a lot of things to ensure that the pressure is evenly distributed in the stump. But regardless that, the skin is still vulnerable. So your physician or your diabetologist will definitely recommend you to use a particular kind of moisturizer. And the role of that moisturizer is to prevent the skin from becoming dry and nourish it, so that it can sustain the pressure. Once the skin breakdowns, then it opens to bacteria. It's like a gateway to the bacteria, and the infection can cause downtime to you, and sometimes it can be require hospitalization. So it's better to prevent it. And the best thing is listen to your diabetologist or physician, or we also recommend moisturizer. Even we use certain kind of liners which has a white oil, so that it continuously moisturizes your skin when you are wearing the prosthesis. But like I said, in the night we remove it, so it's better to go by what your physician and diabetologist says about specific lotion that you can apply. And exercise, yes, it's important for everyone, it's important for you. So certain exercise can be done with the prosthesis, certain exercise can be done without it. You can talk to your physiotherapist. If you can't find one, then whenever you visit your clinic, talk to your prosthetist. And like I said, we have a fitness app that you can follow.
Thank you, Santosh. Guys, we have for you created a short guideline with help from Dr. Rajan and also from Ottobock Resources. And on this occasion, I would like to, sir, to inaugurate it. So this guideline is available for you in our clinics. You can ask, next time you visit our clinic, you can ask our clinicians for it. We'll also make it available for you if you text us on our Facebook page, or just text me or ask ask your clinician to give it to you, and we'll also be able to share the soft copy of this guideline for you. It's a simple visual guideline which you can use in your everyday life and also share with other colleagues. So we move on to the next section now. We have recommended some Ottobock products, but I understand that Ottobock products could not be always accessible for everyone. So we have also tried to recommend local options for these products, and Santosh will elaborate about these slightly.
Sure. I will make it little easy for you. So what we need to do with the skin is, we have to clean the skin, okay? Then we have to prevent from any problem to crop up. The third thing is, if anything happens, then what we use. So what we have to use to clean the skin, what we have to use to prevent any skin problem to appear, and the third thing is, if anything happens, what should we use. The first thing is, what should we use to clean the skin. So we have a portfolio which is specially designed around it. To clean the skin, we have a product called Derma Clean. It's a lotion. So you rinse your skin, then apply this lotion, then rinse everywhere, then clean it again with fresh water. Now suppose you don't have it, or you are far off and you want a local solution. The best solution is, like I said, Dove soap. Any soap which has a pH value which is neutral, and Dove is the you can easily find in your nearest store. The second part is how we prevent skin problems happening. So the typical skincare product. So there we have a lotion, sliding cream. We call it a sliding cream. Basically, what this has is, it has a it is basically a moisturizing cream, specially designed for prosthetic user. If you don't have it, or you are far off from a clinic, then the best thing you can use is use a lotion, moisturizing lotion, which has calendula, which contains calendula, and sir has very nicely explained it. So sir has also recommended this particular lotion, Cetaphil moisturizing cream, which is easily available across the nation. Or if you can get this one, then this has proven. We have been using it for a long time, and we have good result with it. The third side, what happens to the skin if something happens to the skin. Of course, this we are talking about minor skin conditions like rashes, slight redness, in those kind of conditions. So we have a product called Derma Repair. as the name suggests, it helps to repair the skin. And anyway, the skin is there is micro damage in the skin every day, because like I said, in a prosthetic orthotic user, the skin role has altered, or there is an additional burden of supporting the body weight or pressure. So the skin requires something which can repair this micro injuries. So especially in case of rashes and all, this has therapeutic utility. It's a therapeutic lotion, you can use it, or if you don't have it or you can't access it, then there are other options like recommended here, like Fusidine cream or Solidone cream. These are available, and sir has recommended specially if you don't have it or you can't access it. So these three things: clean, prevent and repair.
You can ask your Ottobock clinician for these solutions. These are proven and recommended for use with Ottobock products. So we would of course always, our first recommendation would be these, but alternate solutions also we have recommended based on sir's suggestions. So moving on to the next section, I already have some questions. What are the commonly faced issues and what are the common questions that we get asked, and let us try to answer those questions now.
Thank you. Some of the questions, two of them are listed here. People ask often whether they should shave the residual limb. Now many people are very hairy, and that hair within this socket sometimes causes some discomfort, or people want to remove the hair. So can they shave it? Primarily we do not recommend people to shave it, because that is a normal part of the skin, and by shaving there is a risk. If you do it too frequently, you may injure or scrape the skin, allowing microbes to enter the skin. So as far as possible you should avoid. It is better to trim the hair, trim it and leave it like that, so the skin itself is not damaged. People ask if waxing is harmful. Yes, wax actually blocks the pores around the hair. There are tiny pores around the hair which get blocked, and the germs which normally live on the skin, they multiply more in these blocked pores, and the patient may develop some bacterial or fungal infection. So waxing is not recommended. There are newer procedures like laser, where a light beam is used to destroy all the hair follicles. So this can be done. However, it is not as simple as it sounds, because one treatment of laser doesn't remove all the hair. You have to go multiple times, and it is little expensive, and it is only available at certain centers. But if you can go through multiple sittings of laser over multiple months, then you can get the hair removed. That is a good option. So primarily you should not shave. Trimming is the easier option. Another question we have received is, how long will I have excessive sweating? Most prosthesis users, they find, because the skin is suddenly covered with something which is not natural to the body, the skin reacts by producing lot of sweat. There is heat within, and for the first couple of months the sweating is profuse, but as the body adapts to your prosthesis, the sweating reduces. Many of you are using one prosthesis for a few years or longer, and then suddenly you change. When you change, once again the sweating will go up. So you should understand that it's a matter of few months. So if the sweating also depends on the weight of the person, the location where you are placed. If you are in a hot place or a cold place, the various weather cycles, weather changes, the type of socket that you use. So according to this, the sweating will vary. But if you are using the same device for some time, the body adapts and sweating will reduce. So in the beginning, sweat happening is a very normal reaction. We need to just make sure that we allow the sweat to dry up. If possible, after a couple of hours of wearing, if you are in your office or if you are in a place where you can remove your prosthesis for some time and allow air to dry up the sweat, it will be very helpful. So wherever possible, please attempt this.
Sir, do you recommend any antiperspirants for use?
Yes, people who still sweat profusely after following all these measures, Sweatnil is one product which is available with the chemist. If it is not available in your area, you must meet your local dermatologist. They may recommend you some other preparations, but Sweatnil by repeated use reduces the sweat, although not 100%.
And sir, sometimes if we want to wipe the stump, can we use alcohol wipes?
Yes. So, alcohol wipes to be used two times or 3 times a day at intervals is fine, but using of people have been using lot of sanitizers on the hand nowadays and facing problem. We should not use it too often. So, in a day 1 or 2 times using alcohol to clean the stump is good enough.
Right. And the last question, so I hope this answers some of the questions which are already being asked. Does applying coconut oil on residual limb help?
Yeah, many people are so used to, we in India use coconut oil for so many complaints. So, coconut oil is definitely a good oil. There is no scientific observation about the benefit of coconut oil, but definitely as a lubricant it helps. Unfortunately, it is a very thin oil. Actually, that is a good point, it does not block the pores, but because it is a very watery oil, it dries up in some time. So, the benefit is lost. So, it is a good idea to apply it during bedtime, and there should be at least a 3 hours gap before using the prosthesis, so that the oily substance does not interfere with your prosthesis and the grip of the prosthesis.
Right. Okay. So, use coconut oil, massage your stump nicely, but use it before at least 3 hours before you start using the prosthesis, so that it does not come in contact with the prosthetic components and damage them. That is the advice from you, sir, right?
Yes, bedtime is the best time.
Right. Okay, so let's move on to the next section now. Sometimes you may face watery blisters, especially people who are new prosthetic users at the suture line, because they have not toughened the suture line sufficiently, or they have not had the time or the access to therapy. These kind of water blisters may appear. If I have these water blisters, should I be scared, sir, or what should I do?
This particular image is a little scary, because either the person has waited too long for so many blisters to happen. So, if there is a single blister or a tiny blister, first thing is to inform your prosthetist that something is happening at the end of your stump and your prosthesis needs to be looked at again. If there is a large blister, how to take care of it? If it is a large blister, please do not puncture the top of the blister. Please make a small puncture with a sterile needle. You get this small sterile needles at the chemist. So, you can take any needle and make a puncture at the side of the blister, so that the top is not damaged. You make a small puncture, make 2 punctures, allow the fluid to flow out by taking a wad of cotton and pressing it on the blister and allowing the skin to flatten. This will help that covering of the skin of the wound, the skin itself to cover the wound without removing the roof of the blister. If you remove the roof of the blister, you are creating a raw wound. So, lot of dressing you have to do, and that is more messy. So, allow the fluid to drain, allow the skin to settle completely, and you can apply the cream mentioned here is a good antibiotic cream which is available freely. If the blister is totally flattened, you can apply it all around the blister and gently on the top of the blister also. At least it will prevent more bacteria from entering, and you can put a little cotton padding and then wear your prosthesis. But if the blister is happening repeatedly, then you have to meet your prosthetist and get some modification done, or you have to change the way your activity and reduce your activity till the skin wound heals.
Yes, so there may be a couple of reasons for this to happen. So, when the blisters happen on the suture line, it could be because the suture line is not toughened enough, especially for first amputees. So, when someone undergoes an amputation, it is important that as part of the therapy, toughening of suture line is included. So, the therapist would normally stretch the suture line gently and do this 2 or 3 times a day, so that that area is toughened and it is getting used to these kind of shear forces. That is one reason. Second reason could be some very enthusiastic users use their new prosthesis extensively in the first go, and obviously that the volume of usage the skin is not used to. So, that could be another reason. And of course there could be a prosthetic reason. There may be a gap in the prosthesis, and that gap may be causing a lot of shear and lot of friction, and this needs to be evaluated. So please work very closely in contact with your clinician, so that you know, the prosthetic fit issue is evaluated at least if these kind of blisters are appearing, right? But don't get scared, these will happen initially, and once the skin gets accustomed, they will go.
I could add something.
Yes.
Yeah, Shraddha very correctly said, the suture line, the line where the stitches are taken, that tissue is much different from your surrounding skin. The stretchability of your normal skin is quite good, it is elastic, but the scar tissue does not have that stretchability. And when you wear your prosthesis, suddenly a lot of weight is going to come on that line. So it is a good idea to keep stretching, massaging gently, so before you wear the prosthesis, so the skin is gradually getting into the prosthesis, and the stretch can be, you know, you adapt gradually to getting into a prosthesis, and half your body weight is going to go into that prosthesis. So keep stretching, keep massaging that scar a couple of times before wearing, and night also when you remove your prosthesis.
Right. Thank you, sir. So I hope so far this has been interesting and useful information for you. Now we are going to move on to the most useful part of this talk, where we will talk about what are the commonly faced issues by Indian prosthetic users. What are the symptoms which we can you know, quickly look at and recognize those issues, you know, at least a primary diagnosis is made, and then how to make sure that these issues are resolved and do not recur in the future. So let's go on to the next portion, skin problems amongst amputees. And sir, this is over to you, because you have helped us a lot in developing this kind of guideline. So over to you, please.
Do you want to mention how you got this complaints?
Yes, of course. Thank you for reminding me. So basically we sent out a survey to all our prosthetic users and also some not Ottobock prosthetic users, and we asked them what kind of skin related issues did they face. We also requested them to share the pictures and information about how they treated these issues. And I made some interviews, and sir also talked to some patients. I shared some pictures with sir. So basically this has come from your input, and once again thank you very much to all our users and also the user group, the challenging ones, for giving this very valuable information to us. And this is, again, we don't want to keep it restricted to Ottobock users only. We want to share it with all prosthetic users, so everybody can benefit from it.
Yeah, thank you, Shraddha. So all the pictures that you see are sent by people like you who are using prosthesis, and there are various degrees of skin damage you will see. I will try to make it simple and explain how each of this develops and what can be done to prevent it, and if it happens, what is the care to be taken. So one of the commonest and most superficial and simple conditions is prickly heat rash, what we call ghamori in Hindi or gamola in Marathi. This develops as tiny red colored eruptions with tiny blisters sometimes, but it is very itchy. It does not pain, it does not bleed, it allows you to wear your prosthesis again. So many times, because it allows you, you wear your prosthesis, and then at the end of the day when the rash comes, you scratch and you create problem. So it is important to pick up this as one of the damages that is happening, although it is temporary. Fortunately, this rash comes through the day, and by night when you remove your prosthesis, the rash disappears. So by morning there is nothing, but please take it as a warning signal that something is happening. How to tackle this? Because the itching is too much, one tends to scratch. Please do not scratch. It is a good idea to take a wet towel with cold water and just dab it on that area, say 2-3 times a day or whenever possible. Lactocalamine, which is freely available, is another cooling substance which will help the rash to go. If the itching is too much and if the rash doesn't go, you can visit your local general practitioner, or there are various anti-allergic tablets available. One cheap and effective antihistamine is mentioned here, levocetirizine 5 milligram to be taken only at bedtime because it causes drowsiness during the day. Please do not medicate yourself. Take the help of your local doctor and find out how long you can take this. Let the skin breathe. Now, as a disabled person myself, using various appliances, I know how it is. In the morning I have worn everything, I go to work, and then the whole day I am so busy and happy with my work, I do not want to remove my prosthesis.
Okay.
So I keep wearing, I keep damaging. So if it is possible, if there is a possibility in your office of removing your lower limb prosthesis, remove it and keep it under your table, allows a lot of ventilation. So take breaks. So if you are seated in a chair and you are working on a table, let the prosthesis be there for some time and you wear it after some time. That break will help the prickly heat rash to disappear on its own. So this is the most minor problem. Next slide. You must have come across these terminologies: eczema, it may be wet or it may be dry. In the early stages, like that prickly heat rash, the person continues to scratch and they develop slight fine rash which is always wet, oozing. If the oozing is excessive, that wetness itself draws other germs, it damages the top skin, allowing germs to enter. So again lactocalamine will work for this. Now there are other people who are initially lucky, they do not develop oozing. So what happens? The skin becomes dry, skin becomes thick, like the photo at the bottom. The skin continues to become thick. The person doesn't look at the stump, he doesn't realize that it has become too thick. Then once it is very thick, it is itchy. So person continues to scratch. The moment you scratch, you are opening the top skin, and like Santosh mentioned, you are opening the door to bacteria and other microbes. So please do not allow this to happen. The patient at the bottom should have consulted either the prosthetist and explained that the device is rubbing against his skin too much, or he should consult his local doctor and ask for some cream which will soften the skin. So immediate treatment for wet skin is lactocalamine, and for dry skin is Vaseline. Vaseline will help to soften the skin, but mind you, it will not make the skin normal. You still have to meet your prosthetist and understand what can be done to prevent this thickening from happening. Long term treatment, people who develop eczema, we have observed, are usually people with multiple other allergies. Persons allergic to certain textiles, certain jewelry, certain maybe wristwatch, cosmetics, they all develop, they are more prone to the prosthesis induced allergy as well. So somebody who has got multiple other allergies will develop eczema if they ignore these kind of early rashes. So please take care of that and visit your dermatologist. Check for swelling or edema at the end of the stump. If you are allergic to certain drugs, again that means your skin is very sensitive, you are liable to develop some inflammation where the prosthesis rubs. Next slide please.
Yes, I'm just checking the questions, sir.
Now those who neglect the first two stages what I showed you, they may develop boils or bacterial infection. This is a relatively dangerous situation and this is inviting bigger problem. The skin gets opened up. I showed you the 3 layers of the skin. This means the first layer has already disappeared, the second raw skin has opened up, more germs will get in, there is a lot of pain, there is oozing. So this can be prevented by applying Fusidin cream, reduce prosthetic use once again, take breaks and maintain the usual stump hygiene what Santosh spoke about. These are other infections. This patient would have suffered from itching for a long time and he would have seen these ring like lesions on the skin. This is a fungal infection. Many times the skin doesn't erode, it doesn't come off, but the skin gets soaked and damp. And if you see the picture at the bottom on the right, there are multiple rings, and can you see one ring developing into another and then multiple wavy margins? So this is ringworm and it is quite troublesome and very itchy. Many people who wear prosthesis, they tell us that they are unable to wear it because inside the prosthesis they want to scratch. and they are at a place of work and they find it very difficult. Please do not allow the picture on their bottom that kind of a case to develop. The moment you see a small ring, please consult your doctor, preferably a dermatologist, because somebody who understands your lifestyle better will be able to treat better. Stump hygiene is very important, and the socket environment also has to be reviewed by a prosthetist. So, you would have realized from the first slide to the current slide, the things are getting worse and worse. The top layer is peeled off, and this is a situation none of you should reach, because when it reaches the stage of this kind of wound at the bottom, it means you will have to actually stop wearing the prosthesis for 3-4 days, and only then the wound will heal. So, this picture is shown to tell you that please do not allow this stage to happen. Take preventive steps, consult your prosthetist and consult your dermatologist. You may need to visit a surgeon sometimes to modify that scar, and I think Shraddha will talk more about that. Thickening of the skin. Many people for months together will not face any problem. There is no itching, no rash, simply the skin will keep thickening. Now, the stump, your foot would have normally carried weight and there is a thick tissue. Your stump has got soft skin. So, what happens to the body when it comes across any obstruction? It thickens itself. So, the skin builds more and more layers of dead skin, and finally it becomes into a callosity, as we call it. So, the thickened skin finally cracks because it is dry. It cracks and then allows microbes to enter. So, there are some creams mentioned here, salicylic acid, etc., but it is not for you to use without doctor's advice. Moisturizer, Vaseline is very important. Frequent breaks and stump hygiene is important, but this is one area where if you have reached, that means you have neglected your skin for some time. So, please do not allow the skin to thicken. Please look at your stump every night and see what is happening to your leg.
Santosh, you have a comment over here?
Yeah, especially the condition we see in this picture. So, simply if you find over a period, especially at the bottom of your residual limb, at the bottom, if you find there is something you feel little hard or rigid, then better you consult with your prosthetist. That can be resolved. So, sometimes it may happen that you have put on weight, the volume has changed and the socket is not fitting properly inside, your residual limb is not fitting inside the socket properly, and there is a imbalance in pressure. So, because of that imbalance in pressure, there is an extra effect on the skin and the skin start thickening. So, it can be resolved by a prosthetist. Once you see it, please visit your clinic.
Yes, also very important, again this is a little out of topic, but very important that you see your prosthetist every 6 months. Our follow-up protocol wants us to see you at every 6 months, even if nothing wrong has happened. So, it is not that you have to visit prosthetist only if something goes wrong. You can visit them also to prevent many things like this from happening. So, will be my strong recommendation.
In fact, just to add to Shraddha's comment, that we see a spike of follow-up visits in summer and winter, and this is because there is a seasonal change in the residual limb. So, it is very much expected. Rather, I would ask you to schedule your follow visits, routine follow visits during this extreme seasonal changes, because we might have to do some temporary changes to accommodate the seasonal change, and later on it can be withdrawn. So, this is expected and it's routine, and even if you don't have any problem, you are very happy. The reason why you should visit is that there are certain changes that you can't see. Okay.
Correct.
Over a period, our mobility changes, our weight changes, we change job, we change city, and that has a different mobility demand altogether. And your prosthetist will be he can very easily find a solution for you. A small tweak in alignment can make wonders. So, just don't hesitate to visit our centers.
This is one picture all of you should see and remember what not to happen. This patient has obviously neglected the skin for a long time, and that you can see one mass of red blood vessels have collected and they have jumped out of the skin and formed a bleb. It will bleed, it will get infected, will cause lot of problem. You do not need to remember the name or the condition, but this picture is something that none of you should develop. It is just to caution you what can go wrong if you neglect it for a long time. We all need to wear our prosthesis, it is obvious, but at the same time we need to be careful about our skin so that we are able to use our prosthesis comfortably for a longer period of time.
Thank you, sir. So that is about the commonly occurring skin conditions that we have collected evidence about in your from the survey that we sent out. If you still have any questions, or if you have, I have already got some pictures which I will share at the end of the presentation, and we will talk about them. But if you want to specifically talk to doctor about these conditions, we will also be sharing his contact details. He is available for consultation via
Online.
e-appointment method, and you can directly get in touch with him. Let's move on to the next section. Here I am going to talk about some problems which may need intervention which is more than just your local prosthetist intervention. Sometimes I know that amputation surgery is a big shock emotionally, financially, and also physically, and we don't want to go under a as they call it, under a knife ever again in our lives. But sometimes a minor corrective surgery can help a lot to improve your mobility and your quality of life. So for example, if you are living with a contracture, major contracture which is affecting your gait, which is affecting your spine, causing back pain, then it makes sense to at least take an opinion from a surgeon how that contracture can be relieved. Sometimes better skin cover can help, and remember that at the time of surgery, if you have had a traumatic amputation, the surgeon had no choice but to do his best in that particular situation, in that location, in that hospital, and with whatever skin and bone structure that was available to him. But 5 years, 10 years down the line, the picture may have changed, the technology may have changed. So it makes sense sometimes to go back to the doctor and ask him, can this stump condition be made better? And we will talk about those kind of conditions now. So if you see abrasions or scratching at your prominent bones, or at the calf like this picture here, or at area where your knee sleeve ends, definitely you need an intervention from a senior prosthetist. If your current prosthetist is not able to resolve this problem, please ask him to meet his manager, and he may be able to help you in these situations. So these are not skin related issues, these are definitely related to prosthesis, and we know it means a lot of hard work for us as clinicians, and also it means a lot of responsibility for us, but we will try our best to make sure that your socket is altered and this problem is resolved. So these are the problems which you should definitely go to your clinician for resolving. These are not skin issues.
And Shraddha, just to add to it, this may happen like we have been emphasizing a lot on follow-up visits. Over a period, suppose there is an increase in volume, the socket doesn't fit well. So when the socket doesn't fit well, then there is a pre-planned pressure distribution. So that means if the socket is not fitting well, residual limb is not going inside, the pressures are coming somewhere else. Similarly, when the residual limb is shrunk or reduced, then again the pressures are not coming where it's supposed to come. So the pictures you see is a reason, and in follow visit this can be.
It is not the prosthetist's fault. Really.
So it can be addressed in follow visits.
But it can be addressed, and
don't wait for this.
Once again, don't wait for this to happen, and once again, see your prosthetist every 6 months, so that anything, any signs of something like this happening could be identified and something can be done about this, right, Santosh?
Yes.
The next we look at is a bad skin coverage. Now in India, where traumatic amputations are very common, this is a fairly common sight for us, and we do deal with a lot of users who come with skin condition like this. But remember that sometimes it is also possible to do a secondary surgical intervention to correct this. I am not saying it is possible all the times, but we should at least check out the possibility of this happening, so that we can, as long as the surgeon allows, we can give you a better quality of life. This, I know that this means frequent breakdowns. This means that you have to be extremely cautious in your mobility. You can't stretch yourself at all, and this may turn out, again, your downtime may increase. The picture you see on the top left corner is bone outgrown inside the skin, and the bone is really hitting the bottom end of the socket, where we cannot provide a relief. So it may need a surgical revision, and that will help improve quality of life. So my point is, between the prosthetist, between you and the surgeon, you can definitely find a solution to improve your mobility and eventually quality of life.
And Shraddha, I would just like to add a small thing that just out of my experience of 18 years now, sometimes we might have a residual limb which is long, but the net effective area that we can utilize to distribute the weight, to build control mechanism, to build suspension is less, because of grafting, because of jotting out of bone is very less. Then what happens is, yes, a prosthesis can be made and delivered successfully, but the available hours you have to use it in a day is limited. Like you can use 4 or 5 hours. Now imagine a small corrective surgery which can increase the usage of tissues for us. Like the healthy tissues are more available by shortening the length, but the area is more for us because of available area is more. Then we can provide you a better fit, which means you can use the prosthesis for 10-12 hours. So if you look at in a long term, suppose somebody is 30-year-old and you are looking at 40 more years of mobility life, then you are adding more hours to your life just by maybe investing 2-3 weeks in a corrective kind of a surgery.
But always please talk to your prosthetist before you consult your surgeon, and have make sure that they are connected and they understand each other's requirements and also considerations before going ahead for a secondary surgical intervention.
It's same like the powder that we discussed about. So it may be good for solving the sweating problem, but it is not good for the liner. So when you wear the liner inside a prosthesis, then rather than getting help, you have more problems.
Correct.
So what Shraddha mentioned is very correct, that you, your surgeon and your prosthetist as a team have to work for a solution, and sometimes a small surgical correction is more than enough.
Right.
I agree with both of you. What happens to a handicapped person is, from minimum mobility to normal mobility they reach by using a prosthesis, and then they are so happy with getting to do everything, even if it's causing a little problem to their skin or their bone, they neglect that and they move about with whatever they have. So it is a good idea to review the case to understand if another surgery, another correction can be done, maybe with a little expense, with a little difficulty, but if it gives you a better quality of life for the next 10 to 15 years, please review. Please understand that your the surgery or the limitation what you have today is not the end of the management. The management keeps changing depending on your body weight changing, your physical activity changing. So, and if you are having injuries like this, so be prepared to go back to the surgeon. It is not necessary that they may even operate. They may just modify some not operate on the bone. They may just modify the flesh and shift it to a different zone. The stitch will be shifted to a different angle so that the prosthesis fits nicely and you can wear more comfortably.
Right.
And sometimes there could be therapeutic solution also,
Yeah.
like stretching and all. So it's like a teamwork, and we have to meet together.
Yes, yes. Next we look at is suture line breakdown. So if we now treat a lot of diabetic amputees or vascular amputees, and this is a established common secondary complication of diabetic amputation. So probably the bone length available is not so much that will be ideal. So sometimes the surgeon may just pull the skin flap a little tighter and stitch it, and this may lead to frequent skin breakdowns. So if this is happening, then once again please work with your prosthetist to first rule out if there is any prosthetic related issues. But if this is happening, if you are a diabetic, then also it's a good idea to connect with your operating surgeon and make sure that he knows about this kind of breakdown. Once again, by saying this, I am putting a lot of burden on our clinicians. Probably they are not happy with me, but I think the best way to resolve this problem is to accept it and then go ahead with it, right sir? Yes, this I wanted to highlight this surgery, this type of surgery. Once again, in diabetes, this is known as healing by secondary intention. So the surgeon has not connected the sutures. They have left the wound open and they have allowed the wound to heal on its own and form a skin layer on its own, instead of connecting the two ends, or taking a flap and connecting it with the other end and then suturing it. So this is something which is done if at the surgeon's it is a surgeon's perspective to do this kind of surgery. He may have different considerations to do this surgery, but for us this means a very fragile connection, and only for limited mobility it is possible to give a viable prosthesis to this case. But if this person wants to be more active and wants to spend more time walking, then this is going to put a lot of pressure on the connecting area, and a breakdown is bound to happen. So if you are having this kind of a scar, this kind of a suture line, once again please talk to your prosthetist. Please have him speak with your doctor and then decide what kind of mobility you want to achieve. Sir,
I wanted to add that this picture shows very clearly, if that green circle is made, outside the green circle is the normal skin, that is the stretchable skin, the soft skin we were talking about, and within the circle, that central scar, that is a different issue. So please understand, the skin, normal skin has got those 3 layers which we saw in the beginning of the presentation. The central scar doesn't have all those 3 layers, it has got only some of the layers, so it is not stretchable. Outside the green circle, if you stretch, the skin won't tear easily, but the central area, a slight stretch and the skin will tear. So it is very important to understand when this kind of a thing happens, the surgeon can help you either shift that scar to a different place with a repeat surgery, or the prosthetist can design the prosthesis in such a way that there is less pressure on that scar. So again, understanding these things, discussing with your prosthetist and taking the help of your surgeon, all these 3 will help you use your prosthesis much better.
In this case, unfortunately, this gentleman had to undergo a secondary amputation. So he had to undergo, from a below knee, he became an above knee amputee, and that was quite unfortunate because he had just 3 months back, made a new prosthesis which he hardly used for 2-3 months. Next is, sir, can you please talk about this?
If you see this picture, It is like mountains and valleys. The skin is gone into multiple folds. Again, like Shraddha said, maybe the surgeon didn't have enough tissue to suture it properly. Maybe the injury was very bad, and the surgeon at that point of time, his main intention is to save your life and to save the limb. So he has done a relatively good surgery, but the skin healing is not good. In those crevices, in those folds, always there is moisture, there is dead skin lying there, which attracts germs. So even though there is no cut, no wound, germs, fungus particularly can collect in that, and you have the term intertriginous dermatitis, which is mentioned there. So if you have a skin of this nature, please understand that there will be infection within those folds. So they need to actually wipe the folds and see that that part is very dry, and use whatever talcum powder or something to keep that dry when you are not wearing the prosthesis. And if it is repeatedly giving you trouble, then please visit your surgeon and ask whether this can be re-operated and the skin can be stitched in a better way.
Yes, so these are some cases, of course, hopefully very less number of cases, but some cases where you need a very close coordination between you, the prosthetist, and the surgeon. But by taking a secondary opinion or taking a decision for a secondary surgical intervention, we may be able to improve your quality of life dramatically. So please at least think about it, talk about it, take a second opinion. You don't have to immediately go in for a surgery, but take a second opinion, and don't think that this is the end of this is the maximum that I can get. Yes, so that's about problems which needed re-intervention. Now what I have just said some time back, that it is important that we keep on building experience. So for my colleagues, I have appealed to them to document better, take pictures, document the clinical situation and the issues which helped, the actions which helped resolve the issue, so that we can document and we can build on the initial guideline that you saw. But also, if you want to consult sir, because now sir has seen a decent share of amputees with skin related issues, you can also contact him. He is available to provide online consultations even if you are not in Mumbai, and I will share these details on our social pages later. Tomorrow we will share more information on social pages. You can connect with him directly, so that if required he can contact us, and we consider then the prosthetist perspective as well as the dermatologist perspective along with your perspective. So we will share this information on our social pages later. And finally, we are coming to the end of the session. It's been a long session, 1.5 hours. So to summarize, sir, over to you once again.
Yeah, thank you, Shraddha. I will be very glad to help any of you having any kind of complaints, whether it is minor, major, whatever. So it is important to follow all the instructions which Santosh mentioned about stump hygiene, about care, about preventive care, so that we do not face any skin problem. Skin examination is a mandatory part of our own skin care. What is skin examination? In a normal person who walks to office, comes back home, takes bath, wipes his body, end of story, sleeps. No, for a person with an amputation, they need to examine the stump every day. That is not a part which is designed to carry weight. I am sure now in the last 1 hour you have understood that the stump is not designed by nature to carry so much weight, but it is carrying half your body weight. So please have a look at the stump, look for redness, look for peeling of the skin, look for thickening, look for cuts, cracks. If you look for this every day, then you will not develop any of the images which we saw today. You will not develop any ulcer, any infection. But if you do not look at it and you do not notice that the skin is peeling, skin is thickening, it could suddenly end up with a deeper problem. So, take home message is examining your skin every day and take corrective action, whether it is itchy, whether Vaseline has to be applied, whether powder has to be used, and think whether some other intervention has to be planned. And please plan your visit to the prosthetist the moment you see some damage happening. So, please give it priority. If you see something today, next 72 hours try to plan your visit to the prosthetist, so that he can prevent something, he can maybe modify your process in some way. If there are surgical interventions required, if he thinks so, we could go ahead. I could also help you in deciding this, and that is why examining your stump is the most important part, and every small thing has to be taken care right in the beginning, so that we do not end up with a situation where you cannot use the prosthesis even for a day. Please guard your prosthesis and guard your skin so much that you are able to manage all the things that you want to do without taking a break. But at the same time, whenever damage is happening, please be balanced enough to understand that that is also a tissue which needs care. So, 29 days the prosthesis has given you good service, you are managing everything. On day 30 you have to take a break for your skin. Please go ahead and take it, do not feel bad, everybody will understand, and I am sure most of you are doing much more than you are all capable of. So, please make sure that you are able to deliver much more to society. So, to guard your own skin, so that you are able to do much more for everybody around you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We have some questions. So, Manoj from Pune says that how to control or prevent sweating on stump area which leads to hold of socket. He has tried antiperspirant lotion all dry that works for some extent, but also causes skin irritation.
Now, antiperspirants up to a point will work to reduce the sweat, but beyond a point it actually dries up the skin itself. So, the skin becomes very dry and it starts pulling. So, Sweatnil is a good product, but All Dry is a good product, and you could try out Sweatnil also, and it is important to keep the part clean and prevent friction and maceration. Otherwise, I think you are taking good care, but we cannot totally avoid sweat, particularly if you are in a place which is hot and humid, or if you are obese. Please watch your weight. If your weight is excessive, then there is no way we can reduce sweat. So, that is another important point to watch.
And the second question he has is, what can we do for uncontrolled itching on stump area after wearing socket prosthesis for longer time?
One of the reasons for uncontrolled itching is either because of that prickly heat or because of that developing eczema. So, both these cases, applying cold pack, wet pack, or taking tablet levocetirizine 5 mg at bedtime is a good idea, but that alone will not help. You may need to put some time. If it is a dry skin, applying Vaseline will help. If in spite of that it does not go, there are various medicated creams available. One of them is Siloderm, and even this.
He is already using Siloderm Mixi for last 10 years.
Mind you, Siloderm plain is different and Siloderm Mixi is different. Siloderm Mixi is a mix of many creams. For a long period of time it is not safe to use. So, you have to, since 10 years you have been using, that means there is something underlying which is not getting picked up. So, you must visit a dermatologist and find out what is the other alternative.
There may be allergy to some kind of
there could be some
components in the socket.
Correct. So, it is not good to use
normally the materials that we use are all anti-allergenic. Yeah. But sometimes you may have a different kind of allergy. So,
correct.
Maybe allergy testing could also, the surgeon could, the dermatologist could advise you.
Correct. So, it is not good to use some cream for so many years. They could have their side effects.
Groin area rubbing happens a lot, which also irritated a lot. What is the solution? Change sockets several times. Santosh, maybe you should answer this.
Yes, rubbing means it's because of friction. So, obviously the first line of action we should take is eliminate the friction by looking at the suspension system or looking at the control mechanism in the socket. So, I think your prosthetist once you visit your prosthetist, they'll be able to figure out.
This is another.
Yeah, so we have another question from Saurabh from Delhi, Saurabh Chopra. What to do when this kind of skin happens and too much irritation? How to cure? This is, I'm showing these pictures to sir.
Yeah, there appears to be a black thick skin with a little round margin. Most likely he has developed a ringworm infection. So when there is a lot of sweating, sweat soaks the top layer of the skin, allows fungus to settle into the deeper layer of the skin, and because the prosthesis is going to be worn, there is constant friction, and the fungus which has gone little deep goes more deep, and this it's from inside it spreads to the surrounding and creating a ring. So Saurabh needs to again consult a dermatologist. For the time being, applying little Vaseline will help him to give relief. It is not easy to suggest creams, but Candid is a good antifungal cream, but whether that alone will work, only a thorough examination will help.
Yes, so Saurabh sir's advice for you is to consult a dermatologist, will be the best idea. And just allow me a couple of minutes to check out questions under the live. So Govind Chaudhary has been using 6Y92 gel liner, Calio 6Y92, but I have itching on my thigh.
Is it
Yeah.
something to do with?
Yes, especially in below knee, I mean the socket area is knee down, but what I think so he is mentioning is in this area. So we have seen this problem, and the best solution is to use either this kind of sliding lotion, or if you don't have, then you can use the moisturizer in this area where the liner is terminating, especially where liner or sleeves are terminating. So in that area you have to use it. Sometimes if the liner is maybe compared to the residual limb, thigh is bigger, so liner sometimes can be very tight. So especially this liner, you can ask your prosthetist to expand it little bit, the thigh area, so that it stays gentle and the itching can be removed. But
So-
yes, that doesn't remove the other care like sir mentioned, like cleaning your residual limb and also thigh nicely, especially in the night, and applying moisturizing cream. And if the rashes are there, then derma prevent can help, repair can help, or the other solution that we recommended in the beginning.
Right. So Mr. Shukla says that I think you have all your customers' email IDs in your database. Can you mail us a PDF of this information, as this could be easily forgotten? Definitely, sir. We will be sharing this information with all the users, especially those ones who really helped us by sharing pictures and filling up the questionnaire that we shared out. Vaishali Singhania is a user of Autobox from last year October, and what should I do for infection and sweat?
This is a very general question. I think Fusidin cream if there is infection. I hope Vaishali means to say that there is some pus or redness or pain. Fusidin cream would be the right choice for infection, but it should be little more clearer, and maybe take a local dermatologist help.
Right. Yes. Yes, I think that's all the questions that we had. Right, Vikrant? Do we have any more questions? One more question. Okay. That we answered. Mobile provide, I would like to talk. So I will share. So we will share sir's contact information on the Facebook page tomorrow, so that you can take an appointment with him and you can do an online consultation with him. If required, he will also rope your prosthetist in, and he can then advise you medically what is the right thing to do, right? So that that was all from our side, guys. If you have any more questions, please feel free to message us on Facebook or write text messages over here. This entire live is gone on YouTube channel as well, and our YouTube channel is at youtube.com/Autobock in India. So for your reference, if you want to download that video and keep it on your hard disk, it is perfectly fine, but do like it, do share it with our users, do subscribe to our channel, because we intend to do these kind of sessions and these kind of interdisciplinary advice from dermatologists, of course, but therapists, surgeons, etc. more often now that we are little out of COVID, and I am sure this will overall help improve quality of life for all prosthetic users. So please keep in touch and follow us on our social channels. Ask your prosthetist for more information, and we will share this with you very soon. Okay, so thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.